Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Today, I'm here with Susie Plettner. Nice to have you with us for this webinar, Susie. Welcome.
It's nice to be here. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure having this opportunity to share some of the tools that Jin Shin Jyutsu give us to harmonize our beings in the spirit, mind, and body levels. And we're so excited to have you here with us today, Susie.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'm Alessandro Palma, I'm your host for this webinar. And please, here in the chat window, let us know if you can hear us well. If the image is stable, we worked hard to make everything smooth for you as much as possible. And we have an introductory question for you. We would like to know from our students here in the window, have you ever taken any Jin Shin Jyutsu classes? We would love to know a little bit about who our audience is. And Susie, this is a self-help webinar, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is for anybody. This is for people that have never been introduced to Jin Shin Jyutsu, just how to learn to place the hands on the body to help, facilitate the movement of energy flowing harmoniously through the body and the mind and the spirit. And this is also really good for old-time practitioners as well, people that just want, a refresher of some really great ways that we can place our hands on our bodies to help to harmonize ourselves.
That sounds wonderful. And we have 12, it's rising, 12% of the people in the room have never taken any classes. So
Okay.
we really welcome you, and we hope you enjoy this time with us, that you get to know Jin Shin Jyutsu and everything it has to offer. It's a life-changing art, isn't it?
Very much. Are you talking to me, Ale? Or?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Absolutely. I mean, I was actually just sharing with Ale how I was introduced to Jin Shin Jyutsu while I was traveling through Guatemala, and it was remarkable. I took a self-help class, and I originally thought that, oh, this doesn't really seem like much, and how could simply holding your fingers help, or placing your hands here or there, but I had a really remarkable experience during that class, just simply crossing my hands and holding the insides of my knees. It helped to clear a lot of digestive pain and complaints that I was experiencing while living in Guatemala, being exposed to all sorts of different microbiome and whatnot. And then also during that class, a friend of mine had a migraine headache that she had suffered with for I think about 14 years, and we had learned an area on the foot to hold to help drain the headaches. And I held that for about 45 minutes, and her pain was gone. It was really remarkable, and that's when I decided I was gonna study this beautiful healing art, even though I didn't understand it and it seemed like it couldn't be that powerful. I nonetheless had a beautiful experience and decided to begin my studies then. And that was when I was 24. So I'm 48 now. So it was a while ago.
It's a Jin Shin Jyutsu life, 24 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're really glad for this opportunity. People here in the chat window are saying the connection is fine, okay. And they're saying greetings from many places, from Chicago, from Maryland, from Hong Kong, from Tampa, Portland, New York. Well, we are very excited that everyone is joining us.
Is there anyone from Des Moines? I'm originally from Iowa. Is there anyone from Iowa?
From Utah, from Ecuador. Wow.
That's great. That's great. I'm so happy you've all decided to be here and to join.
So you're free to start whenever you wish.
Okay, great. So again, thank you all so very much for being here and for wanting just to share in the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu and to learn about this beautiful healing art that has really transformed and touched my life. And I hope that it also transforms and is able to touch your life in many beautiful ways. So I'd like to start the class by doing some self-help. And I'd like to start with doing a breathing meditation. Now, of course, we're talking about self-help for optimal immune function. And we know our breath really is the first tool that we have for self-healing. So why is conscious breathing important? Well, first, it connects us to the present moment, which helps us to relax and calm the mind and reduce stress. And we know stress can adversely affect our immune function. Conscious breathing also helps us to connect with the subtle energy, both within and without. It helps us to navigate different levels of consciousness. And in particular, breathing consciously has a positive biological effect on our mental, emotional, and physical state, thereby increasing and improving our immune function. So for the purpose of this meditation, I'd like us to take our hands and we're just going to give ourselves a nice hug. We're just going to kind of put our fingers on the inside of the scapula there. Our palms are going to kind of go into our armpit. We're just going to give ourselves a nice big hug. And just drop your shoulders, bow your head. Close your eyes and you know, I'm gonna have to put him out. I'll be right back.
Cats love Jin Shin Jyutsu. We start practicing and our pets feel the vibration, they feel the energy, and they want to join us.
I'm really sorry about that.
No problem.
He usually doesn't get up and bother me, but okay. He wants to be on. He wants to be on video. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go back. We're just going to give ourselves a nice hug. Go ahead and close your eyes, drop your shoulders, bow your head. Open your hearts and your mind. Let us gather together and breathe. As we exhale, energy moves from the top of the head down to the toes, down the front of the body. And as we inhale, energy moves from the feet up the back to the top of the head, down the front on the exhale and up the back on the inhale. Let go to experience now. Everything is in the breath. Breath is the ultimate healer. In the breath is the total philosophy of now know myself. We first must exhale before we can receive. Exhale all skepticisms, attitudes, and stress. Inhale joy, laughter. Oh, this is the last one.
Breathing, connecting from head to toe, bringing in your presence, your attention to the breath. We're breathing, feeling our bodies coming to the center, as you said.
All right. So we'll just get back to the breath. Exhale all skepticisms, attitudes, and stress. Inhale joy. Inhale laughter. Inhale cosmic abundance. Self-change starts with self-study. Shallow breathing causes disharmony. Deep breathing results in a loving personality. I have never experienced this breath I am before, nor will I ever again. The journey lies within myself to see that which has no beginning nor ending. When body and mind are in balance, we're in tune with spirit. And when we are in tune with spirit, we know who we are, and we remember our dreams are our own. And only we can know the effort required to keep them alive. Breathe and be still. Dream and be alive. All creation proceeds from unity. In the breath that I am renewed in body, mind, and spirit. The more we exhale, the more we can receive. As we practice this art, we increase our awareness and understanding of ourselves and our capacity for living in harmony. And as we tune into our body's innate healing wisdom, we enter into a more relaxed and vibrant state of being. Everything is in the breath, and breath is the ultimate healer. So go ahead and take a deep breath. Remember exhaling down the front, inhaling up the back. When you're ready, you can come back to this circle or to the live cam. So that was a meditation that I wrote with my dear friend and longtime Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner, Jenny Swiziski. And we also used a lot of quotes from the self-help book #2 from Mary. So that's Mary inspired a lot of that, that meditation. So I also want to talk about when we give ourselves a hug. So go ahead and go back and just give yourselves a hug. This is safety energy lock number 26 in Jin Shin Jyutsu. And when we give ourselves a hug, we are harmonizing the totality of our being for complete peace, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We also help to harmonize all arm and hand projects. So tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, anything going on with the arms and the hands. This also helps to clear all accumulations in the body. Tumors, fatty deposits, excessive water, any way that accumulations may settle in the body. This self-help hold really helps to clear that. We also know that this really, when we give ourselves a self-hug, we're helping to clean our lymph system. And the lymph system is very important for the immune system, for keeping the immune system balanced. It's the first line of defense against disease. It cleans and removes the interstitial fluid from our tissues. The lymph is also placed in strategic locations on the body where we naturally have a lot of movement. And for example, here in the neck, in the arm, in the groin area, where we have a lot of movement with our legs. And this serves as a pumping mechanism for the lymph system, which helps to clean, filter, and move the lymph throughout the body. So again, holding this is a nice, beautiful self-help flow that helps bring total peace and really helps to also boost the immune system. So now I would like to go to our slideshow presentation, and I'm going to give a brief introduction to Jin Shin Jyutsu because I know there's probably a fair amount of people here that, again, it's your first time being introduced to Jin Shin Jyutsu. So I'm going to talk about the history, the lineage, some of the basic theories and principles of how Jin Shin Jyutsu works. I'm going to explain some of the terminology that we use.
Okay, so It seems that Susie got a connection issue. Yeah, we lost her. We'll be in touch. Just a moment. Keep doing your self-help, holding your 26 while she reconnects. Just a moment, please. Keep breathing. And as Susie comes back in and turns on her camera and microphone, yeah, she will be right back. Yes, there we are.
That I somehow lost everyone. So Jin Shin Jyutsu, it harmonizes the body's energetic system through light touch. It's an ancient healing art from Japan. The literal translation of Jin Shin Jyutsu is the art of the creator through the person of knowing and compassion. And Jin Shin Jyutsu, it's rooted in Oriental medicine. So it's based in similar principles and theories of traditional Chinese medicine, and therefore it's similar to acupuncture, but instead of using needles to stimulate and balance the vital life force energy, we use the gentle contact of our hands. So Master Jiro Murai, who's on the left of the screen, was born in 1886 in Japan into a family that had a long lineage of medical professionals. He chose not to follow family tradition and began his search for the true meaning of life. During his wanderings, he became ill of an unknown disease, and no medical professionals could be found to help him. So he requested finally that his family carry him on a stretcher to their mountain cabin. During that time, he meditated, he fasted, he practiced various mudras, he placed his hands on his body and experienced the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu. He experienced different states of consciousness and unconsciousness, as well as extreme temperatures of cold and heat moving through his body until he eventually healed himself. He walked down the mountain and dedicated the rest of his life to the study and practice of Jin Shin Jyutsu. And then in the late 1940s, Mary Burmeister, here on the right, was a Japanese American who returned to Japan during World War II and was teaching English and was guided to Master Jiro Murai by one of her students. So she studied and apprenticed with Jiro Murai for 5 years in Japan. And then after World War II, Mary married Gil Burmeister, a civilian employee of the American military, and returned to the United States in 1954 and settled in Los Angeles. She continued to study with Jiro Murai for 7 more years until he passed away in 1960. And then Mary began teaching in 1963 full-time, and Mary passed away in 2008. So Jiro Murai had 3 main students: Mary Burmeister, Mary's father Uhachi Inu, and Dr. Haruki Kato, who was introduced to Jiro Murai by Mary's father in 1953. And you can see to the left of the screen, that's Dr. Haruki Kato standing next to Mary. He studied with Jiro Murai until he passed away in 1960, and then Haruki Kato passed away in 2014, and now his son, Sadaki Kato, on the right, is continuing the lineage of his father. And Sadaki is also an instructor at the faculty at Jin Shin Jyutsu Incorporated. So now I want to talk about a term that Mary coined in describing Jin Shin Jyutsu. She coined the term physiophilosophy. And this is introducing Jin Shin Jyutsu. Now know myself, it's a handout that I did give you for the class. And I really want to focus on the second paragraph. Let me see.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
You can go ahead and, yeah. So yeah, the second paragraph, Mary says, through Jin Shin Jyutsu, one's awareness and understanding of myself are awakened to know that all are endowed with the ability to harmonize and balance ourselves, to be in tune and rhythm with the universe, physically, mentally, and spiritually. The now know myself is an innate part of one's wisdom, simplifying the complexities of existence into the simple art of living in the now breath. So Jin Shin Jyutsu, it's really so much more than a technique. It is an artful creation of knowing when and how to keep ourselves in balance with the universe. And then if we could go back to the slideshow presentation, Ali, the energetic body.
Sure.
Yeah, one more. You can go. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is an image of the energetic body. And as Jin Shin Jyutsu students and practitioners, we access and harmonize the energetic body for healing. So the scientific term now used in the study of the subtle energy fields that permeates the living body is called the biofield. And it is a rapidly growing new area of science. So the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu really helps us to see what the eye cannot, that there's a limitless supply of universal life force energy available to all the time. This vital life force energy is often called ki in Japan, or chi in China, or prana in India. And in the West, this concept was introduced through the Star Wars trilogy as the Force, you know, like use the Force, Luke Skywalker. So this is just this universal life force energy that's available to us all the time. And then, so we can go to the next one, Ali. There we go. Go back. There we go. So how does Jin Shin Jyutsu work, and what is the theory and practice behind this? So Jin Shin Jyutsu understands that health and illness is associated with either the harmony or imbalance of a vital life force energy called chi. Chi flows in very organized pathways that feed life into cells and to nourish internal organs. And when one or more of these pathways become blocked due to an injury, accident, stress, poor diet, this stagnation is what leads to pain and stress to kind of set into the body. So you can see this is an image of the gallbladder organ function energy pathway. And it is just one example of one organ function energy pathway. It starts in the head, it moves from the face into the chest, and then disperses into the intestines, gallbladder, and the stomach. Another branch moves down the lateral side of the body and the leg into the ankle and ends in the fourth toe and the big toe. And at the big toe is when it becomes the liver function energy. So there are multiple organ function energies moving throughout the body. We also have, you know, the gallbladder and the liver. We have the stomach and the spleen, the lung and large intestine, the heart, the small intestine, the kidney, the bladder, the diaphragm, and also an umbilicus function energy, which is an organ function energy that's recognized in the East but not the West. So you can think of this organ function energy pathway. It's a system that's a very organized system of energy within the body. Just like you think of the muscular system, the vascular system, the skeletal system, the nervous system. And so we know in Jin Shin Jyutsu that when the energetic pathways of the body are balanced, improvements occur at every level. Neurological barriers dissolve, biochemical pathways and metabolic processes repair themselves, the skeletal system aligns, muscle tension dissolves, mental and emotional conflict is brought to the surface where it can be neutralized. Essentially, healing occurs spontaneously, and then the person is free to develop their highest potential. So the next slide. Jin Shin Jyutsu employs the use of what we call safety energy locks to facilitate the harmonious flow of energy moving through the body. This is a map of the safety energy locks. And the safety energy locks are strategically located in relationship to the organ function energy pathways that we saw on the previous page. They are basically areas above, on, and below the surface of the skin that have higher concentration of blood, nutrients, oxygen, chi, and by holding them in particular combinations along the body, it stimulates and balances our vital life force energy. And just as they are named, they are truest friends. They are our safety energy locks. They're essentially our safety alarm system, and they lock when we abuse the body. So you can think of the safety energy locks as the electrical circuit breaker panel in your home. If we are demanding too much from electrical outlet, the panel will blow a fuse as opposed to letting the entire house burn down. So similarly, when our safety energy locks tense up in this way, it's a way that our body warns us that it needs attention and that we might be heading towards trouble. So there are 26 safety energy locks on the left side. There are 26 safety energy locks on the right side. And they are three-dimensional dynamic spherical centers of concentrated energy, roughly 3 inches in diameter. Are there any questions so far? Are people kind of following what I'm saying?
Yes, they're following what you're saying. We have just a question about from Greg saying that most of our immune system is in the abdominal area, which is without a safety energy lock. Well, not actually, right? Because the immune system is all over the body.
Yeah, the immune system is really a synergistic coalescence of all the organ function energies within the body. I mean, obviously, we know with some of the new science with the microbiome, the importance of the large intestine and the bowel for the immune system. But our immune system is everywhere within the body, and it involves all of the organ function energies, the nervous system, the skeletal system, the muscle system, all of the organs that we just spoke about. And there are actually safety energy locks that are located in the abdominal area that we can also get a release through that area as well. And we'll talk about that actually in a little bit, the importance of the digestive function for helping to build our immune system.
Perfect.
All right. Any more questions?
You can go on.
Okay, great. So I want to discuss how the universal light comes into the body. Because when we place our hands on our body or someone else's body, we are accessing this universal light to heal ourselves and others. So this was an image that was taken from Mary Burmeister's Self-Help Book 3, page 6. And this talks about how universal light comes in at the solar plexus, or where our belly button is, our solar plexus, and moves in a figure 8 in opposite directions around the body. So the energy moves from the front of the solar plexus. And so I'm going to be talking about the upper right quadrant. The energy moves from the front of the solar plexus up the front of the left arm. It then moves down the back of the left arm. And then energy at the solar plexus passes to the front of the body, where it then moves down the front of the right leg and then up the back of the right leg. So you can see it's moving diagonal. So there's a relationship between the right kind of pedal in the upper quadrant and the lower left pedal in the lower quadrant. And then the energy moves in opposite direction at the other side of the body. So the energy moves from the back of the solar plexus, exactly, Ali, up the back, up the right arm, down the front of the right arm, and it passes through the back of the solar plexus, and then it moves down the back of the left leg, passes over the toes, and then up the front of the left leg. So I want to actually show this on myself. Can we go to like big live screen at all, Ali, or should I just use what I see here? Okay, so basically we have the energy coming at the solar plexus, and it's going up. All right, there we go.
There we go, much better.
Now I know my left is going to look like your right, but it comes up the left arm, down the back of the left arm. It comes in down the back of the solar plexus. It passes through the front, and then it's going to go down the front of the right leg, over the toes, and then up the back of the right leg. Where then at the solar plexus, it passes through again at the front, and the energy pattern starts over again. And on the right side of the body, the energy starts ascending from the back, up the back of the right arm, down the front of the right arm. It crosses to the solar plexus, where then it moves in to the back of the body, comes out here. It goes down the front of the left leg, over the toes, and then up the front of the left leg, where it then passes in the solar plexus, comes to the back, and starts that movement again. So basically, that is the jumper cable energy that Mary refers to, and we can go back to the slideshow too, Ali.
Okay.
So Mary refers to our ability to conduct vital life energy to stimulate and activate the safety energy locks as jumper cables. So like the jumper cables that feed the battery of life for a car, so do our hands feed the battery of life energy into our bodies. So no massage or physical manipulation of tissue is necessary. You just have to make contact. And I think that's why Mary was smart and used the term jumper cable. You know, you take a jumper cable, you put it on a live battery, you take the other end, you put it on the dead battery, you start the car, and there's an effortless flow of energy. We don't have to take the jumper cable and bang it on the battery for it to work. We just have to make contact. So again, our hands are the same. We just have to make contact. We just have to use our jumper cables. So now I'd like to do a chi ball exercise with you. And this is just an image of a chi ball. And so, Ali, maybe we can go back to live screen again. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So go ahead and just we're going to make our own chi ball. And just for a minute, breathe into your hands. Take a moment to appreciate your hands. You know, think about all the things we do with our hands. We give reassuring touches with our hands. We shake hands to say hello and to greet new people. We put our hands together to pray. We lovingly wipe tears from a child's face with our hands. We grow food with our hands. We touch the earth with our hands. We prepare nourishing meals with our hands. We heal with our hands. We love with our hands. Our hands connect us to the world, and we are connected to the world through our hands. So now in your mind's eye, imagine that there's a fireball between your hands. And just breathe into that and imagine that. You may feel some tingling, maybe a little bit of warmth, and if you don't, that's okay. Now go ahead and push your hands apart a little bit. And then bring them forward. You might feel that it feels like there's something there. You quite can't touch it, but you feel like there's something there. This is our chi. This is our vital life. This is that universal life force jumper cable energy that Mary talks about. Just going to take a few more deep breaths into that beautiful space between your hands. Now go ahead and place your hands on an area of your body where you feel like you need a little bit of attention. And just breathe that beautiful energy, that jumper cable universal energy into your hands. Okay. Now, something that I also like to do is, if you have friends, you can play with each other's chi ball. You can partner up, and you can kind of put your hands between other people's hands and feel their energy and feel their chi. That's really fun when you feel other people's as well. And again, if you didn't feel anything, that's okay. But I promise you, if you continue to practice, even if you just spend 3 minutes a day practicing, you will eventually feel something because the energy is there. Okay, Alice, let's go ahead and...
It's about us getting more sensitive and getting used to feel it, because we're not taught how to, right?
Exactly. Like this, our Western culture isn't very attuned to the subtle energy field that permeates all living beings. But it's there, and it's available to all of us. And we just need to develop our awareness, our consciousness, and our breath. Yeah.
Sure. There we go.
Okay, so there we go. So now we're actually gonna work with our hands a little bit, and we're gonna talk about the power and beauty of healing and harmonizing and balancing ourselves with our hands. So you can see here the thumb is related. So again, this is an image of our hands that teaches us how we can harmonize all of our organ function energies, all of our attitudes, by simply holding our fingers. And when we get stuck in attitudes, it increases our stress, which then can, deplete our immune function. So the 6th week after conception is when in embryonic development, fingers and toes begin to form. It's also when electrical activity begins in the developing brain and the nervous system. So we know our fingers and our toes are very, very important for integrating form and function within the body, and also helps us to harmonize mental and emotional disturbances. So let's go ahead and take a look at the handout here. And again, this is the handout that you should also have that you can print out as well.
Yes, it's available here in the window for them to download it now.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So we can see that the thumb is related to the attitude of worry, and it's related to the organ function energies of the stomach and the spleen. So you can think about when we're little kids and we're sucking our thumbs, we're harmonizing our worry, the worry of our poor parents, especially if it's the firstborn child. And and we also know this is the stomach and the spleen. And sometimes when children are being introduced to food, or they can be colicky. Children that were chronic thumb suckers, they weren't chronic thumb suckers because they were sissies per se. They were chronic thumb suckers because, it was the innate intelligence of the body's strengthen and balance the stomach. And so as adults, we can't necessarily go walk around sucking our thumbs, but we can simply hold our thumbs. And we know that this is also really good since it's related to the spleen. Again, it's really going to help the lymphatic system. It's going to help nourish our nervous system. It's going to help us feel secure, any digestive disturbances. We also know too much worry will keep us from being present and wear down the body of its strength. So now let's look at the index finger. It's related to the attitude of fear, and it's related to the kidney and the bladder. And if you think about it, when we become fearful, what do? We start pointing and accusing and kind of negating our own responsibility. Meanwhile, all the other fingers, they're pointing back at us. So simply holding our index finger helps us if we're feeling fearful. It helps to support the kidney and the bladder. So we also know it's good for backaches if we're feeling tired and fatigued. If there's any reproductive projects that we may have. If we feel lonely, out of sorts. If we have a tendency to be perfectionists, we kind of want to control everything. This really helps to clear fear out of all aspects of our being. And we know that too much fear depletes and weakens our vitality. So the middle finger, now let's go to the middle finger. We can see it's related to the attitude of anger. We know that. How are people feeling when they're giving the middle finger? They're feeling angry, irritable, frustrated. This is also related to the liver and the gallbladder. So we know that it's really good for mental fatigue, if there's eye strain, if we're feeling irritable at ourselves, irritable at others, if we're not alert, if we can't seem to make a decision. This helps to detoxify the blood, really helps with all metabolic functions of the body. The liver is such a workhorse for the body's metabolism. We also know simply holding the ring finger, when we become angry, anger makes us explode, and we can lose the source of our power through anger. So simply holding the ring finger helps with the attitude of anger. And now we're going to move to the fourth finger, which is the ring finger. It's related to sadness, grief. It's also related to the lung and the large intestine, you can see. And when we're grieving, what organ function energy are we using the most? The lung. The lung helps us to breathe the grief out of the body. So again, holding our ring finger helps clear grief, sadness. It helps us just to let go. It clears constipation. That could be physical constipation, like, wow, I haven't had a bowel movement in a few days. It could also be mental, emotional constipation. I'm really upset with what that person did to me 10 years ago, and I still haven't forgiven them. Like any type of your inability to let go. This also helps to strengthen our common sense if there's also excess mucus. And again, sadness will cover up the happiness within us. And we know happiness really is our natural state. So simply holding your ring finger can help with the attitude of sadness. Finally, we move to the little pinky. It's related to the attitude of try to or pretense. It's related to the heart and the small intestine. If you think about it, we're not living in harmony with our heart's desire, everything in life becomes an effort. Effort to wake up, effort to go to work, effort to feed the children, effort. And when that effort becomes chronic, it can turn into pretension. And a good example of this is, bless the English, but, would you care for a cup of tea, darling? We've always kind of noticed a certain amount of like pretense in their high tea drinking ritual. So simply holding your little pinky helps when we're feeling pretentious. It also helps with sore throats, panic, anxiety, insomnia. It calms the nerves. We're feeling confused. This also really brings in laughter. We always want to wash our hearts with laughter. And we know if we're being pretentious, we're trying to be perfect. And trying to be perfect will keep us from being who we really are. So again, really holding your little pinky helps us to be our authentic, beautiful selves.
And Susie, when we hold the fingers, do we need to press them? How do we hold them?
Oh, thank you, Ale. So again, we can just be the jumper cable. We don't have to massage or manipulate. We can just simply hold them. And generally, you'd like to hold the fingers for 2 to 5 minutes until you start to kind of feel this rhythmic pulsation underneath your fingers. You're going to feel like it's the radial heartbeat, but it's actually just the circulatory reawakening of the body. And so, 2 to 5 minutes for each finger, or again, just do what you have time for. Mary said the only reason Jin Shin Jyutsu doesn't work is if you don't practice it. So just just be as you are, practice what you can, and know that you are helping yourself. And then finally, we can see in the palm of the hand, it's related to the diaphragm and the umbilicus function energy. And this is really related to our breath, both at a physical level, but also at a spiritual level, helps us to receive that spiritualizing breath essence. We also know this represents our direct connection to the light, our direct connection to the source. And we know at the purest level of creation, only love exists. So there's no attitudes in this area of the body. And when are we in harmony with love? When we're in a position of prayer, humility, and acceptance. So again, this is harmonizing all these organ function energies, all the physiological functions of the body, harmonizing all the attitudes simply by holding your fingers. So what I'd like to do, and now I want to do just a little brief meditation holding our fingers. So,
sure.
Okay. So now we know that often the most profound teachings and understandings are learned and taught in silence. And spending time together in silence is very, very sacred. So just for I'm just going to do it for about 30 seconds or so for each finger. But let's just go ahead and hold our thumb and close your eyes, drop the shoulders, bow the head. Just going to breathe into our thumb. Harmonizing worry, fortifying the stomach and the spleen. Now let's go ahead and hold the index finger, helping to clear fear, fortifying the kidney and the bladder. Now let's take a nice exhale and hold your middle finger, helping to clear the attitude of anger and fortifying the liver and the gallbladder. And now let's hold the ring finger, helping to clear sadness and grief, helping to fortify our lung and our large intestine. Now let's go ahead and we're going to hold our little pinky, helping to clear try to and pretense, helping to support the heart and the small intestine. And then let's just bring our hands together in a position of prayer. We'll just do a nice exhale down the front and inhale up the back. And when you're ready, you can come back to the class.
Perfect. Susie, is there a side that we should start with? What's your suggestion?
That's a really great question. Your body will instinctually go to whichever side needs a little bit more help. If you're not sure what that is, you can also go to your shoulders and just kind of feel which side there seems to be a little bit more pain or tension or stress, and you can start at that side of the body. Obviously, if you have time, it's great to do both sides of the body. But if you just don't think about it, your hands will automatically go to the side that needs a little bit more support.
Great. That's wonderful in self-help. And Amkara is asking us, why do we bow the head?
Well, I think of when I kind of bow the head, it allows me just to go into a place of stillness and quieting the mind. And it also just helps to relieve a little bit of the neck tension. But I also think of it as, for me, it's just a position of reverence, prayer, and meditation. You don't have to. Mary always said that too, to kind of slightly bow the head. And I've been teaching a lot of self-help, so I've been just using a lot of Mary's words, and she uses that a lot before she begins, holding the fingers and various positions. But yeah.
Good. Mary says, B, drop the shoulders many times, right?
Drop the shoulders, bow the head, exhale. Yeah. Yeah.
And once again, Luna,
excuse me?
Luna is asking about what type of pressure do you recommend for the hold? You already said that, but I think it's important for people to understand.
So you can see, for me, I'm just simply holding it. There's no pressure. You don't have to massage or physically manipulate. You just have to make contact. Just think of the jump again. The analogy of the jumper cable is so powerful. You just have to make contact. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Perfect.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go back to the slideshow, and we'll start finishing up. Okay, so there we go. So this is also a handout that you got, and for the purpose of, I went ahead and put each of these on a separate slide. So in case you don't have it, you can look at it here.
I'm also making them available for you to download it there. And if you're watching this video later on the YouTube link description, you will also find how to download it.
Perfect. That's great. Okay, so you can see here, you're going to place one hand over the opposite shoulder and the neck area, which is safety energy lock number 3. And then you're going to place the thumb on the nail bed with each finger separately. So do you want to go to the live screen, Ali, so maybe people could see more of me, or we can kind of go
Sure.
So this is, so again, this is basically, you're just kind of holding the neck and the shoulder here, and you make a mudra with each finger, and you hold each one for, 1 or 2 minutes, however much time you have, couple minutes, couple minutes, couple minutes. So the meaning of Safety Energy Lock 3 is defense against problems and discomforts, understanding the door. This is all about harmonious relationships. This area of the body really is our pulmonary specialist as well. So it's the key for harmonizing our respiratory system. This also really helps to harmonize the lymphatic system. It's kind of like the natural probiotic of the body. And again, through balanced breathing, we are free from emotional upset and physical stress. We can be happy and healthy. And Mary said when we keep our shoulders clean, we never have a fever or sore throat or cold. So this, so again, going through each one separately really helps to keep this area of the body open, and it will help to protect us from, any type of unwanted pathogens. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So immune system support. We're going to, again, hold Safety Energy Lock number 3. Now, once I explain where the Safety Energy Lock is, I don't go back and explain it, but you can go back up to the page to see where I explain it, or there's also a map of the 26 Safety Energy Locks that is also a handout that's available to you as well. So we're going to hold Safety Energy Lock number 3 with the same side groin area, basically right here, right next to the pubic symphysis. And this is a great immune system builder. Again, we know that Safety Energy Lock 3 enhances the immune function. Safety Energy Lock 15, again, right here next to the pubic symphysis into the groin. We wash our hearts with laughter when we hold this. And it's through laughter that we can really transform our mind. Laughter purifies our subconsciousness and dissolves conflicts. This is the Safety Energy Lock 15 here at the groin is also really good for bones, for broken bones. It also is really good for cleaning the lymphatic system. So if I had a go-to, if my immune system was not functioning properly, this really might be one of my go-tos. And I might hang out here for 10 minutes, really get the energy to move. Then the next step, you're supposed to hold Safety Energy Lock 3 so the hand stays here with the same side buttocks. It's Safety Energy Lock number 25, which is located right here where the buttocks and the hip meet. So you're just kind of basically sitting on your hands. And again, I would just hold this for like 10 minutes. This is Safety Energy Lock 25. It came into the universe meaning quietly regenerating. And this really speaks to the natural state of effortless reality. This really helps to strengthen the bladder channel. It clears all leg projects. Again, it's great for the immune system. You can also see that we have crossed our arms across the chest. We're going to give ourselves a hug, which we did at the beginning of this lecture. So this is really good for, again, the lymph system. So fever. You want to cross your arms in front of your body and hold both Safety Energy Locks 3 at the same time. So it's going to look like this. You basically want to get right back here at the top of the shoulder blade, between the top of the shoulder blade and the spine.
Susie, if this is too hard for someone, can the person do one side at a time?
Exactly. Yeah, you can always just do one at a time. Again, the only rule that we really have in Jin Shin Jyutsu is that you're comfortable. So just be as you are. Mary said relax, and if you can't relax, just be as you are. So just be comfortable. You can definitely do one at a time. Thank you, Ale, for reminding us of that. So we can also palm the backs of the calves. So this is basically, this helps to clear, oh, thank you, Ale. So basically, we palm the backs of the calves. So our right hand is going to come underneath the right calf, and at the same time, our left hand is going to come underneath the left calf. So as I'm sitting down, basically, my hands are like this, palming the backs of my calves. So this is excellent for clearing any kind of heat in the body. I mean, it could be fever, but it could also be burns, acne, eczema, any type of heat that's trapped in the deep skin of the body. And again, wherever your right hand is with this hold, that's the side of the body that you're going to be clearing the heat. So on yourself, if my hands are like this is going to, if I have a burn on my right side, this will get my right, this will clear the burn on my right side. If I have a burn on my left side, I'm going to cross my hands like this and hold the calves, and that will help on the left side. Now, if I'm burned on both sides of the body, then I'm going to be doing both, this and this. So wherever the right hand is, that's the side of the body where the heat is clearing from.
Susie, we have a good question here from Michelle. She's saying how to do this on another person. Most of our practices for us to do on other people are taught in the 5-day class, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But you can easily kind of transcribe doing this on yourself with other people. So for someone else, let's say they're lying down ideally on a massage table, so it's comfortable for you as well. You go to their feet. So you stand at their feet, and then you just come under their calves and hold their calves like this. And so with in this way, my right hand is going to be on the left side of their body. So this will clear heat on the left side. My hands are crossed, so it clears heat on the right side. It's reversed for ourselves, but on someone else, you just go to their feet and you palm it. So, again, I want to say something about fever as well. Fever, we generally don't want to break a fever. We generally don't want to spoil a fever. That's the innate intelligence of the body to raise the temperature, to help to deal with any pathogenic influence. We really only want to lower or break, we want to break the fever if it's getting too high, or if the fever is really, really uncomfortable. You can lower it a little bit, but still not spoil the fever. So I did that for my daughter when she got she had a fever and she was really uncomfortable. I just palmed the backs of her calves. I did her 3s. It dropped the fever a little bit. She fell asleep and she woke up, and then the fever was gone. So it's really, really powerful for fever. But again, we generally don't want to spoil a fever. So, okay, can we go back to the slideshow, Ellie?
Sure. Just a second. Take a breath. Let's go.
All right. There we go. So breathing and coughing. So again, we're going to place the left hand on the right safety energy lock here, and with the right hand, we're going to place the thumb on the nail bed of the ring finger, and then reverse hand positions for the other side. Again, with any of these, you can reverse the hand positions for the other side. So for the other side, it's just going to be like this. So again, we know 3 is the respiratory specialist. The ring finger is so very powerful for any type of breathing projects, as it's, it supports both the inhale, exactly, and the exhale to, because of its relationship to the lung and the large intestine. Yeah, so it's going to be like this. Or for the other side, it's like this. Or again, simply you can just hold your ring finger. We already talked a little bit about the power of the ring finger and helping to support the lung. Okay, so let me see. So body aches. And Ali, how are we doing on time? I think it's 6 p.m. now.
Take your time. Breathe and take your time.
Okay. We have, I don't know, maybe 8 more slides or so to go through. So
take your time. Everyone is going to receive the replay link after this is over. in the replay link all the links for them to download the slides and the PDFs.
Okay, perfect.
All there. Don't nobody, please relax.
Okay.
We've got you covered.
I know. I just want to be respectful of people's time.
Sure, take your time.
Okay. So, body aches. We know when we're sick and our immune system hurts that sometimes, we can have a lot of body aches. So simply holding the back of the knees. And what I mean here is you come to, here's your knee, you come right below it. So right below it. So again, I'm just going to cross my hands and I'm going to just hold the backs of my knees. So the bladder channel, which governs the muscle tissues of the body, travels down the back of the knee, travels down the back and through the back of the knees. And oftentimes when our muscles are aching, we have body aches. Helping to support the bladder can help to clear that fatigue from the muscles. So this helps, and again, if we had more time, we kind of sit here for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but I just want to be respectful of time. So I just want to teach you how to do this, but I encourage you really to just go and practice on yourself. It feels so, so, so wonderful. Also, when there is body aches, you want to hold the inside of the ankle, which is safety energy lock 5 with the right hand, and the outside of the ankle, safety energy lock 6 with the left hand. So, yeah, Allie, can we come to full screen again?
Yes.
So basically what this looks like on your ankle, your right hand is going to be on the left leg, the right hand is going to be on the inside, and the left hand is going to be on the outside. And then for the right leg, your hands are actually going to cross, because again, we want the right hand to always be on the inside of the ankle and the left hand on the outside. And you just hold it like that for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And this is excellent, excellent, excellent for clearing any type of pain in the body. This area of the body is also related to transformation, regeneration, putting off the old, putting on the new. It helps us to just be liberated from fear, breaking down of existing forms for new ones. It's super, very, very powerful for draining any type of pain. All right, so can we come back to the slideshow? And so sinus congestion. You want to hold underneath the cheekbone. So the hand's going to come across underneath the cheekbone. And with the other hand, you're going to come across and you're going to hold the upper arm, so this is safety energy lock 21, and this is safety energy lock high 19. This will clear sinus congestion. It also, the name of this safety energy lock is release from mental bondage, profound security. And you can think about the little kids at school, going like this. They're trying to release from the mental bondage, exactly, of a lot of mental activity. So not only does it release us from mental bondage, but holding this also helps to clear sinus congestion. This also clears our digestion at the mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. The large intestine channel comes here where it turns into the stomach channel. So really important for any type of digestive projects, really helping to clear the mind. And safety energy lock number 19 here, it came into the universe meaning authority and leadership, perfect balance. So holding this area of our body, it's about natural strength and personal power, where there's no need to dominate others through authoritarian rule. It just gives us our natural authority. Think about those teachers that you had in class that just had that natural authority over the classroom. Their 19s were in balance. So also by holding this, we're helping to clear elbow projects, carpal tunnel. Really, really powerful. Okay, so we can move on to the next slide. This is about circulation. We want to hold the inside of both the knees with your hands crossed. So basically, we're talking, this is safety energy lock 1. Safety energy lock 1 is is right here. Safety energy lock high one is just going to be a hand's width above the knee. So if we cross our hands and hold our knees, it's really, wonderful for any type of circulation projects. This is also the prime mover. It connects extreme heights to extreme depths. So this gets the energy that's stuck above the waist to move down. So abdominal pain, bloat, digestive projects, breathing, chest discomforts. It also helps clear knee projects. Really, again, it's the prime mover, so it helps us to move forward and to release any type of resistance that we may have in our lives. And then also for circulation, you hold the elbow. This is 19 with the opposite knee, safety energy lock number 1. So again, you're just holding the elbow with the opposite knee. And this helps to harmonize hip and thigh tension and stress. It harmonizes both the inhale and the exhale of our breath. This also really helps to clear our waistline. Anything going on with our digestive system. Holding the elbow with the opposite knee is very powerful. And of course, you can do the other side. All of these can be reversible. Wonderful. So the next slide is hormonal balance. This is simple. You place your right hand on top of your head, and you place your left hand at your coccyx, which is at the base of the tailbone. Now, this helps to harmonize a very important flow pattern in Jin Shin Jyutsu that we call the main central vertical flow. It descends down the center of the body and ascends the spine. So not only does this hold help balance our hormones, but it harmonizes our total being. I often like to do this one when I'm lying down on my bed, because then this arm has some support against the pillow, and I can just hold that area. All right, so moving on to the next slide, digestion. Again, digestion is we cross our hands and we hold the inside of the upper thigh. So again, it's called the high one. Here's the high one. And I'm just going to cross my hands and hold right on the inside above my knee. This is actually what brought me to Jin Shin Jyutsu. That first self-help class that I took, I was having a lot of digestive complaints, and my teacher told me to cross your hands and hold the insides of your thighs. And, I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. This isn't going to do it.
It's too easy to work.
It's too easy. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And sure enough, after about 10 minutes, I started to notice a break in the pain. And after 20 minutes, the pain was gone. It was so fascinating to me. So now also for digestion, the other slide, it's for the digestion, it says you can hold the inside of the base of the thumb, which is safety energy lock 18, with the opposite leg halfway between the knee and the ankle just off the shin bone. So this is called safety energy lock. It's the low 8. And how you can find it on yourself is if you put your thumb right at the top of your knee, and where your hand just kind of naturally falls off that shin bone, you can kind of hold that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my here, which is safety energy lock 18, and I'm just going to come across and hold my opposite leg. So it's really comfortable if I just sit down and cross my knees. Cross my legs. And that's how you can do this. So this is great for digestion, obviously. It's also really good for any type of pain in the body. Again, digestive bloat, needing to exhale. It's just a dynamic hold for supporting the stomach, the lung, the large intestine channels.
Wow, so many great tips.
We're almost done. Thank you for your patience. Then we can move on to the next slide for nausea. So we want to hold the low 8 with the same side little toe. Now we just found the low 8. So So we're going to hold the low 8, and then you're going to hold just your middle toe. And I'm going to cross my legs in front of me because that makes it more comfortable. So this is on the stomach organ function pathway. And we become nauseous when that energy is not descending down the front of the body. So this hold helps to correct that flow pattern and helps to get the energy to move down. And again, you just want to hold this 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes until you start to feel that rhythmic pulsation in your hands. And then we can move on to the next slide, Alain. So fatigue. Now again, as we already talked about holding each finger and how that dynamically affects our immune function and all the supporting organ function energies. We can also hold the top of our head. Now this is kind of instinctual. You've seen photos of people. I'm a mother with young children. I do this practically every day. You feel stressed or overwhelmed. This also helps to clear fatigue in the body. Just simply holding your head like this helps to raise that ascending energy. It helps to clear mental and emotional stress. Again, just holding that 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. This also might be a nice one to hold as you're lying down in bed.
With pillows beneath
Exactly.
the arms sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last slide, let's talk about insomnia. Our immune system is compromised when we're not sleeping well. So to help with insomnia, you're going to hold safety energy lock number 18, which is related to the lung as well. So this helps with our breathing, which then is going to calm the mind. We then come and we hold safety energy lock number 17, which is on the wrist, the back of the wrist in line with the little pinky. I actually kind of like just to hold like this, so I get the small intestine channel here and also the heart channel here. This helps to also calm the mind, clears anxiety. And then we come and we hold the little finger. Again, this is related to the small intestine and the heart. It's also related to the fire element, and sometimes when there's too much fire, we can't calm our mind down to fall asleep. And after we hold that for a few minutes, we're going to come and we're going to hold our index finger. Our index finger, again, it's related to the kidney and the bladder. It's the water element of the body. What puts out fire? Water puts out fire. So coming to our index finger helps us to kind of put out that excessive fire where our minds won't turn off and we can kind of go to sleep. So that's pretty much shared.
We have a lot of tips for people to harmonize and get to know Jin Shin Jyutsu through the practice. That's wonderful. And so many suggestions. And please everybody know that this video is going to be available soon on our YouTube channel. And make sure that you follow us there so you get all the updates from Jin Shin Jyutsu. So, Susie, how often should we practice self-help?
Well, you can never practice, you can't overburden yourself by placing your hands on your body. So just practice what you can, what feels right to you, what feels natural to you. Don't, you don't want to be a perfectionist about it, and I have to practice this, and if I don't, don't make yourself wrong. Just place your hands on your body as often and as frequently as you can. I often do a lot of self-care if I'm sitting down and I'm watching a movie, if I'm in the car and not driving, always as I'm waking up, as I'm falling asleep. If I'm walking, I'll often do, this mudra. You can just let it naturally kind of integrate into your life. You can't practice too much on yourself. You can practice too much if you're doing it on other people. You generally want to keep it to an hour, but on yourself, there's no limits. I don't know if that answers.
And oh, sure it does. And what do you feel it's important that we practice every day?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's the more you practice, the more, we harmonize our mental, emotional, spiritual, digestive bodies, and it really brings us into a state of knowing ourselves, being our authentic selves, coming from a place of love, compassion, self-awareness, self-knowledge. Again, we go back to the physiophilosophy term that Mary used. It's nature, effortless reality. And when we're coming from that place of alignment with that universal life force energy, it's easier for us to access values of compassion, peace, serenity, love. Um, that's what, and again, even if maybe you don't have your hands available to you, breathing is also self help. We started with that breathing meditation. Remember, we exhale down the front, we inhale up the back, down the front and up the back.
That's wonderful. I'm really thankful, and people here in the chat are very thankful for everything that you have shared with us. So you currently teach self-help often, right?
Yes, I teach 3-day self help courses. This is Mary's books. This is self help book um, 1, 2, and 3. So I do a day, a 9 to 5. We break for lunch for an hour or so. It's a 3-day course, and we spend one day on each book. So
That's wonderful.
yeah, we practice a lot of self care in that course. And yeah, the next class that I'm teaching, I think it's the second and third and fourth of November. And then the first weekend in December, I think that's the 7th, 8th, and 9th, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So those are the next couple courses that I'm teaching at home in San Diego.
Yes.
Oh
And
yeah,
here's Susie's contact information if you want to know more about her work, about the self-help classes that she teaches.
yeah.
And
Jin is being offered at the Center for Integrative Medicine at UCSD. I'm the practitioner there. Um, so
wonderful.
we're trying to integrate a little bit more into mainstream medicine. So the wisetouchacupressure.com is my website. jsjinc.net. Of course, if you're interested in learning more, if you're interested in taking 5-day courses, if you're interested in just learning more about the trainings and what is available, that's
Sure.
obviously a great resource. And then the
So
Center for Integrative Medicine, CIM at .ucsd.edu will connect you to the Jin Shin Jyutsu program at UCSD, the University of California, San Diego.
perfect. And would you just please share a word about the 5-day classes? Because after we do the self-help classes, which is the ideal start for our students, what do people usually study in the 5 days?
Well, I mean, that's when your mind is totally blown open in terms of really understanding, how does spirit dense down into matter? Or if spirit's not a word you feel comfortable with, just think the highest frequency of energy that's beyond our 5 senses. How does that process of the energy densing down, the subtle energy densing down into matter, and then matter back to that subtle energy field, back to spirit? So you really learn so much about various relationships and how that the physical body forms, which is fun. So, as Jin Shin Jyutsu students and practitioners, we study some of the more conventional sciences, like, physiology, psychology, philosophy, but we also dive into more sciences of our ancestors. We study numerology, sacred geometry, the tarot, archetypical energies. I mean, it's just kind of endless. You could never be bored studying Jin Shin Jyutsu. You will always be learning and growing, and it's just very exciting, and it's just a fun path.
Yes, it is, and it's life-changing.
It's like,
So
yeah.
we suggest that you practice as much as you can, get all these tips that Susie so generously offered all of us. And get to know our classes. Go to our website, jsjinc.net, and find out about practitioners in your area where you can also receive sessions, which is a blessing, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. You can go to JSJ Inc. They have a find a practitioner. You can type in your zip code, and then the people closest to you will pop up. And you can also just find somebody to also do trades with. Start a study group. Just really start to build the community, because it's just we, again, like Mary said, we have within our innate healing system within our hands just a way to balance and to harmonize ourselves. And we should all be using our hands to heal and balance and to harmonize.
That's wonderful. So once again, thank you everyone who was here with us today. It's been a pleasure. Susie, thank you from the bottom of our hearts
Thank
for being
you.
available and sharing your wisdom, your light, your passion for Jiu-Jitsu with us. And we hope that we can be together in a future opportunity soon. Um, Thank you. And for those of you who have already attended the 5-day class, um, please follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. We are going to have a new webinar this October with Jill Pasquinelli, a 2-hour study group for those of you who have already attended a 5-day class. It's going to be on the website in a couple of days. Make sure you don't miss it. Thank you very much, and good night to you all. Good night, Susie.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Blessings.
Blessings.